Senator Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Curda, the VA disability claims process is dysfunctional and antiquated, no doubt. An initial claim decision takes about 100 days on average, but appeals stretch on for years. My office worked on one case, for example, that a claim that took 8 years to be decided. How are VA's efforts to improve that process coming along?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of our issues that places VA on the high-risk list is their challenges with managing their workloads, and that includes appeals. This has been going on for decades, where various surges come along on the initial claims side. Veterans who are denied appeal those claims. That creates, additional pressure on the appeals side. And when veterans choose to go, before a judge, that is the longest amount of time that a veteran will experience. There are other choices, but that one in particular can take a really long time. And currently, VA is not meeting its timeliness goals for various appeals options. They're exceeding them. I think what they're doing is we've been engaging with them on this high-risk issue for a number of years now, and most recently, they have developed a better ability to predict their workloads through more sophisticated modeling. That is certainly true on the initial claims side. I think they're trying to kind of do a little bit more on the appeals side to be able to better predict what's coming in. And when you can predict, you can plan, and you can, get the resources that you need to get the work done. So they are moving along. They still are somewhat lacking in their, I think, capacity to really fix the problems. But we were close to moving up their rating in the high risk issue last year, and that budget issue came along, and we had to kind of rethink that. But they have made progress in terms of their just ability to plan for workloads, and then so that when things do change, and they will change, they're in a position to address them.
The key tool in the claims process, the VA rating schedule for disabilities, was created in the 1940s. Some elements of the schedule have never been updated. The VA has been trying to update it for years. Which conditions and body parts rating schedules are the most outdated, and what problems does that cause, Ms. Curda?
Sure. I would say the issue is that they haven't all been comprehensively updated. There have been small changes over the years, here and there, but they haven't taken a comprehensive look at, there's 15 body systems. All the conditions are organized in different body systems. Of the 15, they have updated comprehensively 11 of them. And there are still 4 that remain, and they are in various states of regulatory development. The 4 that are remaining are mental disorders, respiratory illnesses, ear and auditory issues, and neurological conditions. And so, the problem that creates, and I think you can see a little bit of this in the Washington Post article, where you might see inequities, or it might appear to be an inequity in how different conditions are compensated. I think in particular, when this was studied, mental conditions have been, because if you think about it, in the 1940s, people hadn't even heard of PTSD. So that may be compensated differently than, say, someone with an amputation. And so it's thinking through what that level of compensation should be. The other issue is earnings loss. That's the medical side I was talking about. The earnings part of it has never been comprehensively updated, and so that is another component of this.
I want to move on. Colonel Gade, good to see you. Nice to see you, sir. I'm glad the OIG investigates disability compensation fraud, but the examples in the Washington Post article aren't subtle. They're glaring. A Vietnam veteran who pretended to be blind for 29 years while he continued to drive. A bodybuilder who pretended to walk with a cane and wore a diaper. A veteran who claimed paralyzing anxiety and inability to work while he was running a bar in Costa Rica. A VA claims representative who claimed to be homebound and bilked the agency out of benefits for 5 years while he was working there. These fraud cases shouldn't take years to crack, and it makes me wonder how widespread that problem really is. How prevalent do you think outright disability compensation fraud really is?
Sir, I think
outright disability fraud is actually quite rare, as Ms. Mason pointed out earlier. A bigger problem is the problem of lax oversight and easily exaggerated conditions and no follow-up. So I went on Reddit yesterday and I typed in, how do I get a 100% disability? I only have 10% now, which is, false. So here's what Reddit said. Go to your CMP exam with a DBQ that you filled out yourself. Look up what you will qualify for, 100%, and check the boxes and write the explanations that apply to you. Submit that to your examiner at the beginning of the appointment and have a copy in front of you. Throughout the exam, answer the questions based on the answers you gave on the DBQ. So it's widespread that people know that the DBQ exists. They know that if they claim this severity, they get this disability. If they claim this severity, they get this. And if they claim this, then they get this. It's widespread knowledge. And so that's a kind of quiet thing that the Washington Post article never even discussed.
Got it. Thank you. My time has expired.